Hello and welcome to the BVB update for October 5th. I'm Sev1ll4 and in this format I cover Borussia Dortmund news and other shenanigans. And today, of course, is a Champions League night because Borussia Dortmund beat Sevilla in Sevilla. Very important, 4-1, and with that are in a very good situation in Group G. And obviously we will have a look at the table later. But yeah, first I think it's time to take a look at the starting lineup. And I think this was probably the best lineup that Terzic could have gone for. I'm not entirely agreeing with the 4-2-3-1 setup here, but you know, whatever. Who scored has it this way. I think that Bellingham maybe played a little deeper overall, but he was involved in so many things, and thus the man of the match. He was today's team captain because Marco Reus and Mats Hummels were both out, and yeah, man of the match performance without a doubt. Even though I tweeted something else earlier about Alex Meyer, but nevertheless, if you step back and think for a second, it's very clear that he was the man of the match. I mean, he had this amazing switch of play assist for Rafael Guerreiro's first goal, and then a little bit later he scored a world-class goal himself, which by the way was assisted by Özcan, and he also had a pre-assist for the fourth goal, but yeah, he also showed just the leadership and the grit and pretty much everything that you would expect from a player like him. Obviously, there were a few misplaced passes here and there that were maybe a bit unnecessary to give away possession in phases where Dortmund tried to control the game. But overall, just a monster performance by Jude Bellingham. And yeah, you really do wonder when he will run out of steam, because he has been going literally this hard in every game. And yeah, of course, we need also to talk about Youssoufa Moukoko's performance, because he finally got a start from the beginning. And I think this is a very important message from Terzic to Amo Des, but also to Moukoko, that he finally got what he deserved, and that was a start. I'm not entirely sure about his fitness level after the international break, but today he looked very fit, and obviously he did not score, but he had 2 assists. First of all, he had that ridiculous touch, and then the shot which resulted basically in the assist for Adeyemi's tap-in goal. I wish I could show it here. And yeah, also after Sevilla made it 3-1, he had this weaving run to nearly make it 4-1 then. And I think in the 60th minute or so, he had a really good chance again. I think it was like a dink just over the bar. And yeah, he also, of course, set up the Brandt, the very rare headed goal for Julian Brandt, which in the end was the dagger around the 70th minute mark. And yeah, obviously, we also have to talk about Alex Meyer, because with Kobel about to return, I think he will be back for the Bayern game. He was already on the bench today. I think he just deserves a lot of praise, because he had this double save. He had a really good save from a header. I don't remember who it was, but it was before. It was right after Emre Can lost possession, and he also had this ridiculous save to the crossbar. And yeah, got a lot of praise from his teammates for his ball playing skills as well. And yeah, also shout out from @Alexand34777, and he says Özcan is the best signing by Borussia Dortmund this summer. Was silent hero for most of the game, made that pass to Bellingham, then initiated a third goal via a timely counter-pressing, and yeah, he was everywhere. And yeah, I think kudos to Özcan, because he played really well as well. I think the funniest moment was the sort of counter-attack, which nearly resulted in a red card, but VAR took it away. But yeah, he is not the paciest, and I think you could see it there. Also, Moukoko and Adeyemi, not the smartest, by sort of staying offside during the entire play. Maybe drop back and help your teammate out there. But yeah, anyway, it wouldn't have stood one way or another. So we can just move on to the post-game quotes, and I will start, of course, with the man of the match here, Jude Bellingham. Yeah, it's just a beautiful trophy, and I think such a deserved accolade for him, because he was magnificent. And yeah, he did talk to DAZN after the game, and he said, quote, "That was definitely the reaction we wanted to show. I think the difference between today and the other day against Cologne is that we did our work early. 3 goals in the first half allows you to be a bit more comfortable in the second. I think that's a lesson for us going forward. And he also said, for a start, the defenders and Alex Meyer were absolutely brilliant tonight. I got this Player of the Match award for the goal and the assist by, I think, those guys at the back were at a different level. It was a pleasure to watch them defend. And yeah, of course, as you can see here, he was also wearing the captain's armband, as previously mentioned. He said, it comes quite naturally, to be honest. My teammates around are so experienced, so they make it quite easy. They do the majority of the work for me, and it's about trying to lead by example with my performance, and everything else follows. But I play with such amazing people and players that it really makes it quite easy for me to just continue to do what I do. And yeah, of course, there are quotes from the head coach, Edin Terzic, and at the news conference, he said in general about the game, quote, "It was a deserved win. We showed a good game in many phases, but there was a phase which we did like so much. It's not easy right now. I'm not one to look for excuses, but we had an away match in Sevilla and 9 guys were out. Today was a good step, but also we said before the game that a good step today won't be enough in the grand scheme of things, just because the defeats to Bremen, Leipzig and Cologne still sting and hurt very much." And yeah, of course, it was asked about Jude Bellingham, and he said about today's 19-year-old captain, quote, "Sevilla likes to combine through the middle, so we knew we had to congest the center, not only with Jude, but also with Emre and Özcan, who also played terrific. It was a good team performance, but of course, Jude was outstanding. Today, you saw why he's wearing the captain's armband. Even though he's still such a young lad, he was a leader on the pitch today." And of course, he was also asked about Yusufa Moukoko. I mean, you just gotta ask. And then he said, "Yusufa played great today. He was involved in so many of our attacks. For example, it was very important that he created a chance out of a terrific solo play right after we conceded the goal. He certainly deserved a goal today, but I'm sure he will score plenty for us in the future. I'm happy that the stuff we're working on during training is now showing in games. For example, how well he plays against physically superior defenders, how he evades them in the right moments, how he avoids offsides, or how he works with the back to goal. Today he showed it on the big stage in the Champions League, but obviously we expect him to show it consistently." And he also had a quote about Alex Meyer, which I found very funny, where he said, quote, "He had a very calming presence with the ball at his feet, but also in general, he's had some fantastic saves today. We were able to rely on him. If everyone was this reliable, we would have fewer problems." And I should probably mention that Jude Bellingham did not only have a magnificent game, but he also was the youngest captain in a Champions League match to score a goal at 19 years and 98 days. So yeah, props to that. Really just underscores how amazing he is at a very young age. And yeah, with that we can, I think, move on to some Julian Brandt quotes, because yeah, he had a lengthy interview after scoring a very rare goal. And yeah, he did say, "I think we gave everything we had today, but if we're frank, we have to admit that there was a phase in the game where we were always a step too late. It was once again the first few minutes right after the break. The difference today was that we caught our tailspin this time. The second half wasn't as good as the first one. Nevertheless, today's performance was better than what we showed in Cologne. It surely was not easy to flick the switch, forget about the Cologne game, and show up in Sevilla, who are also in a very critical situation. What helped today, of course, is that we scored more than one goal in the first half. If Sevilla had made it 1-1 after the break, for example, I'm sure the game would have had it taken a different turn." And yeah, he also praised Alex Meyer, where he said, "It's very important to know that you have a reliable keeper behind you. Gregor played fantastic before his injury, but then his backup, Alex, continues where Gregor left off. Alex's on-ball ability is a massive help for the team. It affords us a lot of opportunities that way. But we also have a couple of other guys who deserve a shout out. I also have a lot of respect for Emre Can, who didn't play many games this season. He basically just started against Manchester City, but he battled hard again today. It's easy to forget amid all the goal scorers, but it deserves a mention. And yeah, what also deserves a mention is Nico Schlotterbeck and Antonios Papadopoulos, who got subbed in late in the game. And yeah, the caption of Schlotterbeck's post basically reads, "From the Champions League to the sandbox," because it appears they already were friends at a very young age. And yeah, what a cool photo, and what a cool occasion. So yeah, kudos to them. And lastly, let's take a look at the group stage, and that really shows you how big of a win this was for Dortmund today, because if they beat Sevilla in the return leg next Tuesday, then they will be practically through to the second round, barring Copenhagen winning out the last 3 games, which I think is not realistic. So yeah, obviously winning the return leg will also not be an easy feat, because as you have seen, probably that Sevilla sacked Lopetegui right after the game. I'm not going to go into this whole kerfuffle, but the situation at Sevilla is very messy. They are not in a very good shape, but they could have, of course, a new manager bounce. And you could also see that Dortmund's defense is not that steadfast. They do create chances, and you know, with a little bit of match luck that Sevilla certainly did not have today, then yeah, things can get ugly. But you know, Dortmund do play at home, and I think this is a massive advantage. What's also nice is that Dortmund finally won on the road in the Champions League, because I think they were about to set a new club record in consecutive losses. I think it would have been their 4th or 5th or even 6th. I don't quite remember, but the record was not great. But as I said before, this is not only important because Dortmund play Bayern next Saturday, but also in the greater scheme of things, just because of the money that Dortmund desperately need. The Champions League money, or the prize money and the TV money they generate with making it to the round of 16 and further, plus the UEFA coefficient and all the other things, are very important for Dortmund. So yeah, surviving this group stage is absolutely key for Dortmund, especially after they struggled so hard last season and yeah, basically got relegated to the Europa League playoff. I don't know what kind of in-between run that was, but Dortmund crashed out one way or another. So yeah, today was positive, and I'm very excited to talk about this game on the Yellow Wall Pod tomorrow. I'm not going to be as excited to talk about the Cologne match. Yeah, but yeah, keep your eyes open in your podcast feeds. It should drop at some point, I hope. And yeah, as always, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of today's win. And yeah, I will be signing off now for today. I shall be back tomorrow with another update. And as always, thank you for watching and good night.